Well, Ted Cruz is showing himself to be the lying fake weasel he's always been, I guess. Every time this guy opens his mouth, it's like it becomes obvious that he's not what a lot of people wanted to vote for, even though he states positions that most Republicans probably would want to be in favor of. Ted Cruz is an establishment candidate all the way. And one of the things this protester pretty much puts it up the sign that's the correct sign to show the whole situation. Koch and Tea Party don't mix. The Koch brothers, who are basically own Ted Cruz, and the Koch brothers, who are now backing Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump, tells you exactly that the Tea Party, and it gives it to you actually not exactly, but it actually gives it to you very strongly that the Tea Party has been taken over by the establishment forces. The ones that are the globalists, the ones that are actually not putting America first. Tea Party actually, if you go all the way back, was all about putting America first. It was about anti-taxation, representation, real representation, and the fact that the Koch brothers are now endorsing Hillary Clinton over Trump, and the Koch brothers also own Ted Cruz's butt all the way. This guy is the biggest fake going, man, and he was booed soundly at the Republican National Convention because he would not endorse Trump at all. Now the thing is, if he's a Republican and the Republicans, the voters overwhelmingly went for Trump, well, sorry, pal. This is not the establishment all the way. Now, I can't say that Trump, I totally trust this guy. He's an actor. He's a good sales pitch guy. He's very intelligent, and he is what you call a maverick. But you really don't know where the hell he stands exactly. But I do know the options that we have that are other than Trump are not options at all. You had the other people in the Republican field, which was like Cashel and Bush and Rubio and Cruz. They're all terrible. Then the other side, we had Hillary Clinton. And then, obviously, Bernie Sanders turned out to be a freaking sellout because he's totally endorsing Hillary Clinton, and he never went after her over the emails, lack of security scandal at all, even back when he could have. And he got cheated out of the election, too, besides, so I don't know why he's endorsing her. But I guess, if Bernie Sanders can endorse Hillary Clinton, I can't see why, Ted Cruz can't swallow some of his damn pride because he's not qualified to be president being born in Canada anyway. That's another thing. How the hell could he be born? It's like there's a way you could do that and be a citizen, a natural born citizen born out of the United States, like in the case of McCain. He was born in the Panama Canal area or something. But, that's a little bit different. In this case, it was an unwed partnership. The mother was American, and he was born in Canada. He was not really a natural born citizen, so he's not even qualified to be president. So he's about as qualified to be president as Obama. So anyway, Trump, I know he's been putting out the lines that everybody wants to hear, and I don't know. We'll find out. Just like anything, has this been the first time that a politician told us a bunch of stuff we wanted to hear, and then they got in there and they did something completely different? Yeah, it could be. The proof will be in when he's actually in there taking action. Assuming he makes it in there, I don't know what's going to happen. But the word of the day is the Tea Party was not something about totaling tea. It was about taking action against the British government, or it's like you can't be cooperating with this bullshit anymore. We got excess government. Freaking people in government are freaking making way more money than people that are civilians that supposedly serve. Yeah, right. We got blatant communism right now in our country now because the government actually is making far more money than the taxpayer base. It's ridiculous. Actually, it's grown exponentially even under Obama administration. But it's not just at the federal level. It's also at the state level. It's also at the county level and all that. Government is just there to it's a racket in itself. If there was a real Tea Party, it would be throwing a tea overboard. That's exactly what it is. And I just want to leave you with this expression, don't tread on me, because that's the only way the American citizen is actually going to be able to fight back, is to actually have some teeth lay low like a snake in the grass, and don't tread on me. Don't go freaking walking on my property. Don't go freaking coming for my stuff. And it's a matter of you're just going to have to not be out there in the open. You're going to have to be stealthy as a snake, because to be out there in the open is to actually put yourself at risk, because when you're dealing with the government, it's way bigger than you are. And so you have to be as stealthy and sly as a snake, but carry that venom and be ready to strike when they come to take your rights away. So anyway, that's the word of the day. Actually, I put this out about Ted Cruz, but well, at first, to tell you the truth, I was a guy that was for Ted Cruz over Donald Trump. Okay, I want to tell you that at first, till Ted Cruz started opening his mouth, and then I started realizing this guy he's a load of it. He really is. Every time, and I can tell you the Illuminati don't even like Ted Cruz, if you want to call it them, the Illuminati. They do not like Ted Cruz either. There's something about his personality that reminds me of Richard Milhouse Nixon, but probably even worse than that. Just something about his personality is lacking, and he just doesn't have that charisma at all, period. But his posing as a religious man is very, very fake. That is another thing. I can tell you that right now. He's fake as all hell. It's a game he's playing with the most religious people. The stuff they want to hear. Now, on the other side is, Donald Trump could be telling us a lot of stuff we want to hear, too. Just like Obama told the people that he was appealing to a lot of stuff they wanted to hear, right? He turned out to be probably the worst president there is for blacks. I can tell you that right now. Now, I know the white community is, Donald Trump is trying to really appeal to everybody, but the white community, more conservative people, they're really on board with this Donald Trump guy. And, that makes me lead to suspect that he's gonna wind up being a New York City liberal to the max, and these conservative whites are gonna find out that maybe he's not gonna be what he's cracked up to be. I know what he's telling us the last 2 years, but I just got to go back. Like, he's been consistent on a couple things, maybe America First and the trade agreements, but he's been a New York City liberal for pretty much most of the time. So I don't trust none of them. And like I said, it really comes down to don't tread on me. That's what it really has to be. It's not very easy to. It's easier to say than do. But the reality of the situation is that government excesses are gotten ridiculous, and the government itself is a organized crime enterprise. That's what it is. I don't want to call it a mafia enterprise, because that would be insulting, the term mafia. But the government itself is an organized crime enterprise, whereby it's a bigger racket than anything that organized crime itself that we know of has done. And right now, it's just there to fleece the public so they can pay the fat salaries of the people that are in the government that do nothing except act like they do something, and fill out forms and shuffle forms and all this other garbage. They're actually wrecking the United States. One of the best things Trump can actually do is, if he got in, just say, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. Lay off half the government, just get rid of them, and cut down all the expenses that are going into the government. And that would be, then I would consider him a saint. I would really then, because the problem is not we need more rules, we need more government. We need the government to be cut probably by 75%. And you know what? I know I went along on this video, but you know what? That's probably going to happen. I just want to invite people to look at this site called Deagle.com. It's Deagel, not Glegel, and look up the forecast they have about. It's a non-profit military site. Look at the forecast they have for the between now and 2025. They actually show an 80% reduction in population in the United States, going down to 64.9 million. Actually, this is what they're predicting. They're not a conspiracy site. They also, and this is due to a drastic default of the government, implosion of the economy, and this is totally in the absence of war. Also, the GDP being reduced by 90%, and also the military expenditures being reduced by 80%. I can't imagine something that drastic happen, but you know what? If something like that even partially happens, whoever the next president is, it's not, and some people say nobody doesn't want, Trump doesn't want that to happen to his administration, but it could be beyond the control of anybody who's in there. It could be totally beyond their control. So, I don't want to put people down on this shit, like, give them a downer on this, but I can tell you one thing. Um, it's probably the next people that are going to be in charge of the government of the United States. When you're talking like 2020 or 2024, they're going to be in charge of a country that has greatly diminished in power. Um, I don't know if this is correct or not, but I read about conspiracies and all this crap for the last decade or so, and I know a lot of none of them really played out pretty much. The 2012 conspiracies and all that other garbage. But when I looked at this nonprofit military site, Deagle.com, Deagle, they do have, they're forecasting, like, based upon, you know actual data that is produced by the Chinese government, for instance, versus the U.S. government, and also historically what happened with Russia. Right before the Soviet Union, right before they fell apart, they're pumping up all the numbers, making everything look rosy, and then all of a sudden, the straw finally broke the camel's back. Right now, I could tell you, they're doing everything in hell and moving hell in high water to keep the markets high right now. So Hillary Clinton could possibly win because that would be good for whoever the incumbent party is. But I could tell you that probably I don't know what's actually going to be the straw that's actually going to break everything. But usually when you're looking at a bunch of fake a facade, like something like for economic numbers, like also like Ted Cruz is. Ted Cruz looked pretty damn strong when he first came into the gate, and then he fell apart, right? Um, so let me just say that that could also be the situation even with the U.S. government and also the U.S. economy itself, because we've actually taken away the substance, and we're done with um, you know we're done with this deficit spending garbage. Is not going to be able to continue forever, and the government and the Federal Reserve is not going to be able to prop up the economy. And actually, they're not even interested in propping up the economy. They're actually just more interested in propping up the big banks. uh, I could tell you this though. I know I'm kind of cheering on Donald Trump here some ways, but I can also tell you he's been a partner with George Soros for a long period of time, and he has praised the Clintons and been buddy buddy with him for 20 years, and he changed over the last 2 years. Um, I'm not really sure where this shit is heading, because he may be the guy that is being put in place by the elite, even though it looks like the elite are against him, because he is letting off some steam from a real revolution. Because I don't think the elite want a real revolution. They want a controlled revolution. They want controlled false flags so they can instill more rules. They don't want a real revolution. You know what I mean? They don't want that, because then they're freaking through. You know what I mean? That's an absolute fact. They want controlled false flag revolutionary events so they can implement policy. They don't want an all out freaking revolution. So Trump may be somebody that's being put in that is just to let off some steam from the powder keg of the American population that's getting fed up with all this bullshit. So I figured I'd just put this out to you in a little bit different twist. My way of rationale looking at things, common sense all the way. I'm not pushing the fear button. I know some people think I am. I know most people realize I'm not pushing the fear button. I'm giving the reality button. The reality is you should be a little fearful, but don't be overly fearful. But the thing is that Trump's hopefully is a good alternative. Hopefully is, hopefully. But the reality is we know Ted Cruz definitely is not a good alternative. Absolutely not. He's shown himself to be a dyed-in-the-wool freaking puppet of the Koch brothers, and he's just somebody that's playing a game and telling us a lot of stuff we want to hear. He's a globalist to the max. He's a New World Order operative, and yes, he'll do some conservative things and play the religious card, but that's just a game to freaking keep the peasants at peace for a while. In the meantime, he'll be freaking pulling a rug out from everybody with the globalist policies, selling the United States down the river, which would be our national identity and our Constitution. So, Ted Cruz, you're just a big fake. You just proved it again at the Republican National Committee, and we, the people, totally reject you. That's all there is to it.